All right, welcome back. Work finally getting back underway at the historic Shaw Walker factory in Muskegon, of course, decades after it closed. The factory used to be the largest furniture maker in the world. Well, now it's going to be transformed into more than 500 apartments and condos called the Shaw Muskegon. Construction begins with a groundbreaking and community celebration this afternoon. We actually spoke with the founder of the development company leading the transformation. Go ahead and take a listen.
Well, Monday at 4 o'clock, these gates open, and we're going to have a groundbreaking for this 630,000 square foot former furniture factory that's been vacant for 35 years to be reused adaptively as apartments and condominiums and 8 interesting, fun retail outlets, all as a big mixed-use community in what is currently the largest building in Muskegon.
So, first event groundbreaking. Has it kind of hit you that this is the start of the project and it's finally coming to fruition?
Yeah, it's definitely momentous because it's unlike most real estate deals where it's just real estate and bottom line. This is a community celebration, and there's been a lot of support for this project. We've been working on getting this off the ground for 2 years, and Monday at 4:30, we celebrate it.
Yeah, you said for a few years. How long has it been that you guys have been trying?
We bought the building on December 22, 2022, 3 days before Christmas.
So, 2.5 years?
2.5 years ago. Since then, we've been working on architectural drawings, designs, site plans. How do we use 15 acres? How do we use 730,000 square feet? What portion is apartments? What portion is condominiums? What portion is retail? What is the retail use? Should we have a restaurant and bar, a fitness center, hair salon, massage therapy, grocery store, daycare, doggy care? We had to make all those decisions, and we've finally figured those things out, finished our designs, applied for our permits. Our building permits are ready for pickup. 1,800 pages have been reviewed by the city and approved. We've got all of our site plan approvals, our PUD approval. We've gotten approvals from the state for various tax incentives. We're ready to move forward. We plan to be done in 32 months.
So, for the average Muskegon resident, you said it's the largest building in Muskegon. Someone who isn't familiar with what this is going to do to the community, can you kind of put that into, I know it's tough to summarize, that's why it's good it's not live, but what's the impact this is going to have for just a normal Muskegon resident that they may not understand?
Well, to me, it does 4 things. One is it fixes a major eyesore. It had 8,000 broken windows. It is at the entry and the exit main corridor to the city. Everybody saw it. A second thing it does is it restores a historic building that everybody knew somebody that worked here. It was a grandma, a grandpa, a brother, a sister, a friend, any number of people could have worked here, and it's historic to the Muskegon community. The third thing it does is it provides housing options that increase all the options for where you live. You can live in an apartment, a condo, a small apartment, a large apartment, a small condo, a large condo, and all of those condos have access to the amenities such as a rooftop deck, all of the retail outlets that are in the space, and then 2 clubhouses next to the rooftop deck, a library, a fitness center. But most importantly, I think, is that it provides a big dent in the housing crisis that we currently experience in Muskegon. It's predicted over the next few years, and it's been a study commissioned by the county, that we need 9,500 housing units. This provides more housing units than have been built in the last 30 years, all under one single roof, and puts a major dent in that need. Approximately 500 units will be complete within 32 months.
The groundbreaking specifically, can you kind of tell me as to what you guys are going to be doing and what people can expect to show up on Monday?
Yeah, so the gates open at 4, and then we'll have a small celebration for less than an hour with 4 or 5 short speeches. We'll have introductions. We'll do a little surprise event at the end, and then we'll have social hour afterwards. And we'll have a large tent. We hope we have great weather, but we've got a tent for up to 200 people, and the public's welcome. We have a lot of people coming from all over the state that played a role in this project, whether they're from the state, the city, or another organization that helps support the project, plus all of our support professionals. And it's just this giant synergistic team of people that have worked on this for 2 years. It's a community celebration. It's not your typical real estate project.
Speaking of that community, I'm kind of curious. Have you gotten to talk to the people in Muskegon and gotten kind of their reaction to, Monday it's officially going to happen?
Well, it's cool. When we went and got our PUD approval from the city, we had to go through multiple bodies. We had to go through the Planning Commission, the City Commission, but we had unanimous approval for both bodies. But everybody just hoped that it would happen this time, because this project has been approved in the past for various uses, but it just never took off and came out of the gates with a groundbreaking. So now we're doing that. We've got incredible support from the neighborhood associations, the state of Michigan, the MEDC, all the different people that support projects like this are excited.
And then time frame wise, for the average person who doesn't know, groundbreaking Monday, do you guys have kind of an idea as to when things will be done? I know it's probably not everything because it's, there's so many projects.
It starts with this project back here, which is the beginning of the project, the apartments, and then it moves from that end over around the corner and goes over there to the condos. Everything to the right side of the smokestack, or that part of the building, is all 69 condominiums, and then there's 432 apartments from there over to there, and then the rooftop pool and the jacuzzi that's open year-round, and then the 2 clubhouses, that's up on top of the 4th story, protected from the wind by the 5-story buildings.
And then, the city of Muskegon, it seems like there's a lot of projects and it's kind of growing and building up. Does that kind of surprise you with, things like Shaw Walker kind of coming into development?
No, we predicted it back in 2009 when we first started heavily investing in Muskegon. We don't invest money anywhere except for Michigan. We love Michigan, but we just saw Muskegon as a great opportunity in 2009. It's on the lake shore. It's one of the communities that is directly on a lake connected to Lake Michigan. It's the biggest lake connected to Lake Michigan. It's 4,400 acres. This building sits right across the street from the city marina, a stone's throw from the water, and most of the units stare right at Muskegon Lake. So we just saw huge potential. Many things happened in the late 90s and the early 2000s that made this city a better place. Like the mall came down and the redevelopment started of the downtown. The hotels were built. The paper mill came down, and its revitalization has been swift, to the extent that there's no other city on the eastern side of Lake Michigan that has had more cranes in the air and more construction than Muskegon. And in the last 10 years, it's really turned the corner, but I still believe anyone that invests here is still ahead of the curve.
And then, this area specifically, do you kind of foresee it becoming like a bustling hub of the city, a huge part of it where, everyone goes to kind of hang out?
Yeah, already there's over 20 restaurants and bars in the downtown district. Western Avenue is the main street. We were involved with a public-private partnership to build a convention center in 2020 and 21. That has had a huge impact downtown. It's connected to our hotel, and then all the buildings around it have been improved with millions of dollars of investment in the last 2 to 3 years. So it's really exciting to do a project, but then watch some of the impact it has to the surrounding real estate values and the investments that follow.
All right, so that work begins with the community celebration and groundbreaking today at 4. There will be a short ceremony and a social hour as well. The Shaw Walker building will need a lot of work done, as you could kind of see what was going on behind that interview, as there are 8,000 broken windows and a lot of the inside in disrepair right now. But developers expect the first residents to be moving in next year, so we'll keep tabs on that project for you.